What's going on, guys? Here I'm gonna be starting my new series where I discuss all the players in like certain drafts that were drafted that didn't pan out, and I talk about the players that they could have drafted in those spots. It's just kind of funny because some of these like people put so much effort into trying to figure out who the top guy is gonna be, but it just proves like you never know. Like, you can draft a guy in the first round, have so much hype, and he could be a total bust, and then you can draft a guy in the seventh round, and you could have a Pro Bowl player for years. They really don't know. They try and make it into like a science with the combine, but that doesn't really measure a good football player. So I wrote down a bunch of like crazy draft picks that different teams had, and it's pretty funny looking at who they could have had. So Chad Jones, okay, Jones was drafted by the New York Giants in the third round, 76th overall in 2010. He never made an NFL tackle and was waived by the Giants in 2012 after failing a physical. So this guy never made an NFL tackle, and you know who they passed up on? Cam Chancellor. Cam Chancellor was drafted, I think, quite a bit after Chad Jones, actually. And it's crazy because Cam Chancellor's won a Pro Bowl. It's considered one of the best safeties in the league. So that's a pretty good, like, you drafted, who? You drafted Chad Jones? Like, how stupid do you think they feel? The next guy, okay, Daniel Te'o-Nishim. He played for the Eagles. He accumulated 56 tackles in his 6 games, but then got injured and never played again. And you know who they could have drafted a little bit later if they're looking for a linebacker? They could have drafted Navarro Bowman. Navarro Bowman's one of the best linebackers in the league, and he's always voted onto that like top 100 football players. He's a total beast. And the Eagles drafted Daniel Te'o-Nishim. Like, how stupid do you think they feel? And it's such a tough thing to decide. So here, let's move on to the next one. This is receivers. This is my own Titans doing right here. So we drafted Damian Williams, right? Decent receiver for us. Had about 100 receptions in his like career. Didn't really do too much. Had 5 touchdowns. We could have drafted. I think even if we would have waited a little longer, we could have drafted. We could have drafted Emmanuel Sanders, the guy who has 280 catches in his career, a Pro Bowl, and 20 touchdowns. So let's just think about that, Titans. Let's say we got Emmanuel Sanders. What would our receiving core be? But we drafted Damian Williams. Williams has bounced around the NFL. I think he just signed with the Rams after getting cut by the Dolphins. So there you go. Good one, Titans management. You always know what to do, I guess. So the next one is actually pretty crazy. These two are actually drafted. This guy plays a different position. He plays D tackle. So the Bills drafted this guy by the name of Terrell Troop. Okay? It's kind of a hilarious name, which makes it even funnier. I think it's like in the second round. He had 31 tackles in his career, and that's it. He's done. I don't think he plays anymore. And you know who they could have drafted? Rob Gronkowski was drafted 1 pick after Terrell Troop. So just think about that for a second. Gronkowski's had 4,000 yards in his career, over 50 touchdowns. Pro Bowl is like the best tight end in the league by far, just to help New England win a Super Bowl. And the good old Bills decided that they wanted Terrell Troop. But there's no way to know. They probably saw Troop at a good combine, but so that's a pretty funny one actually. That he was drafted in front of Rob Gronkowski. Okay, the next one is Kevin Thomas. He was drafted by the Colts in 2010. He was drafted quite a bit before. He made 32 total tackles in his career. That's about it. Yeah, and nothing too crazy, just a pretty poor career, kind of a bust. And they could have drafted Alteron Werner. Not a great cornerback. He's made the Pro Bowl, though. He's one of my favorites for the Titans. And Werner has 13 picks, 350 tackles, and 7 forced fumbles. So actually, I'm proud of my Titans. That's a good draft pick that they made. The Colts, not so much. The Colts probably didn't get the good end of that deal, but the Colts are a pretty good team right now. So, okay, so the next one is Hall Davis. Just kind of a weird sounding name, Hall Davis. I don't even know. So in his career, he never made a tackle. He never made a tackle in his career. They could have drafted Greg Hardy. Now, saying Greg Hardy, I know he's not very looked at in a positive light, and he might not ever play in the NFL again. But Greg Hardy has given 34 sacks and 7 forced fumbles to the Panthers, as opposed to Hall Davis, who was drafted before him, who has never made a tackle. So, good one, Rams. Good pick with Hall Davis. I'm just excited to see all the busts that we get from this next year's draft. It's always fun. Okay, so the next one is Tim Toon. Timmy Toon was the last pick in this draft. Never caught a pass for the Lions. He won the car or something. He won the award. And then they could have drafted Victor Cruz, the undrafted player, who now has 4,000 yards and 24 touchdowns. So, just how much do you think the Lions are kicking themselves, knowing that they could have, instead of just drafting Tim Toon, they could have had Victor Cruz. So, that kind of sucks. Okay, I gotta get 3 more in before the end of this video. Carlton Mitchell was drafted by the Browns. He had 3 receptions and now plays in the CFL. Okay, 3 receptions for 10 yards, so a pretty good yards average. That was a joke. They could have had Antonio Brown. And Antonio Brown has 5,000 yards and 28 touchdowns. So that's just the Browns right there. You expect that from the Browns. Okay, the next one is DeAnthony Smith. 15 tackles in his career and 0 sacks with the Jaguars. They could have had Geno Atkins, 32 sacks and a Pro Bowl and 7 forced fumbles. So they missed out on Geno Atkins. The last one, Tony Moeki, 100 catches, 1,000 yards. Actually not that bad, but they could have had Jimmy Graham. They drafted Tony Moeki in front of Jimmy Graham. So that's the last one that I have. I'm going to be doing more of these videos. I might cover the 2009 draft next or something. Let me know if you guys enjoyed this series. This game, I just kind of beat this guy, and I wanted a gameplay to upload with this. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys.